Hey, Alicia. Yeah. So, wow, this is already looking really fun. So, the first thing I do is I make sure that your file is the right size. It looks a little bit long in this direction. So, image size. Oh yeah, it's 5 by 3. So you want to make this 8 by 10. And it'll be pretty easy because the idea is to have one side a little bit longer. But yeah, be sure to look at the spec for that and try to change it before you submit, because I hate to see you lose points for that. So yeah, 8 by 10. So just a couple suggestions right off the bat. Well, first of all, let me look at your mouse, and usually how I do that at first is I really zoom in. This, you might want to get a little bit higher resolution of this. Some of these look a little bit pixelated. See, this one looks pretty good, but this one I'm seeing a lot of little fragments on it. Let's see, let me go back out. That's what happens sometimes, is that they look like they're big files, but then when you put them in Photoshop, and this isn't even the real size, like if it was, print to size, it would probably be kind of pixelated looking. So yeah, just not, let me see at hers. So when I zoom, yeah, you can see the difference here. See, when I zoom in really a lot with hers, see how there's no pixels, but yours zoomed in just 2 times. See how pixelated some of these are? So I would suggest now trying to get some better images. And again, just use the Google search techniques like I showed you in that video, where you go to Tools and then you go to Size and you say larger than 2 megapixels or something. And then you're going to just get the high res images, because you don't want to really get far into the assignment and have it look kind of pixelated. So unfortunately, that's a big, pretty big deal for this assignment, that it looks really, really clean. See, this is probably about the size it would be if it was printed. And you can see it's just, these look pretty clear, but this looks pretty pixelated. So yeah, I would get another. So just a couple other, I really love this. A couple other ideas. You might think of getting some kind of leaf forms, different ones, not the same one. In fact, you might want to get a different leaf for this side anyway. Is to think of making this pinwheel thing with some kind of plant. Because since you have, plants and flowers and mushrooms, this kind of is a little bit it's, it doesn't fit visually coherently. So, I mean, it's just an idea, because, I mean, if this was someplace else or something else that wasn't plant, I think it would make more sense. But, it might be good just to stick with, plant stuff. And again, I can just show you hers, and you can kind of see how she dealt with some of these, elements here. And again, with the flower head. So, and again, next week we're going to do the background. So it's good to think of getting a background with negative space, because that's really what allows the caricature to stand out. The negative space, and then you can really work with the text. And just for a preview, I suggest putting each word on a different line, which you are already actually done. Another suggestion is to go to dafont.com and and look at some of these fonts to download. There's so many cool ones, handwritten ones. Some of the handwritten ones are really cool, but just make sure that it's legible. You can even use more than one font. Again, there's 194 pages of these. Gosh, that's a lot. But you can again start to look at other. Oh no, that's Gothic. You don't want that. Just other different kinds of fonts, like Groovy. Again, there's 22 pages. So again, be sure to really, I wouldn't ever use anything like that. Be sure to use something that is definitely, legible. That's kind of fun. There's just so many different ones, decorative, and some of these are really not usable because they're too fancy. So, curly, there's just tons of them. So that would be another suggestion for next week and the upcoming weeks too, not just that. So I'm not going to bore you to death. I'm sorry, I probably already am. But just to show you a couple things. So I like to select, you know, all of these layers here like this. And then if you click this folder icon down here, it will put them all in a folder, and then you can move it around more. And it makes it kind of easy to deal with. Let's look at some of the masks. Yeah, this leaf is really pixelated too, so yeah, shoot. So when you do get further on, we'll be cleaning up some of the masks. Actually, your masks look pretty good. I don't know what that is. Yeah, overall the masks look pretty good. But with this, then you can, you know, then you can size it. So let's say I wanted to make it a little bit smaller. Yeah, I could do stuff like that. I can make it bigger. Another thing to think about also is this idea of using scale to create depth. So if you, like for the back, for this one here, you can make it bigger, because then if you make it bigger, it's going to come forward, right? So now it looks like it's in front. You know, and then again, you can move stuff around. I mean, you have to get another mushroom, but you might want to make the mushroom bigger, because I think that it's such a cool form that, you know, it could be bigger. These things don't have to be to scale, because then you actually have kind of a more substantial kind of a body, you know, thing or whatever. But I would just make it, you could even make it bigger if you wanted to. But again, play with it. We have, you know, obviously the class is about half over, but we do have a lot of time to really, you know, play with these. And, you know, the same thing with the leaves and the stem. Where is that? And what I kind of like to do too is I would put the stem and the leaf kind of close together, so then you can edit them if you wanted to. So you can make that bigger too, because it's going to look like it's closer. You know, stuff like that. Yeah, and you really do want to kind of get it to be as animated as possible. Not animated necessarily, but you know what I mean. Like it's like, you know, like it's alive and it has some kind of movement. Even like something like that. But this is why Photoshop is so great. Come on, guy. My computer's running really poorly right now. You know, but again, you can kind of just see what, maybe that's too much, but there's just a lot of different stuff you can do, you know, to really get this looking, you know, like it's a real, no, I like that too. So anyway, I hope you found this useful. So then for Sunday Dropbox, be sure to get better images. I'm sorry that you know, that these are so pixelated. Definitely make the image size the same. I mean, the, you know, correct one under image size. Yeah, make sure it's 8 by 10. And just start to think of backgrounds and fonts. Next week is background. So again, you want to get a background that allows the caricature to stand out. The problem is a lot of students, like, you know, he had this at full opacity and it was just too strong. The text is terrible, but didn't listen. So, and again, when this was bright, this fire thing, it just dominated the caricature. So again, you know, kind of, you know, something subdued like this will allow the caricature to come out. You know, even something that's, you know, like if you want to put it outside, she really worked hard on this. Okay, so anyway, yeah, I hope you found this useful, and yeah, if you want me to look at it before you submit it, the new images, I'm happy to do that too. Okay.